we're here today at the Western Reserve Fire Museum and Education Center. We're going to kick off Fire Prevention Week. Fire Prevention Week is sponsored by the National Fire Protection Association. They do this every year. They've been doing it for over 100 years. And this year we're focusing on cooking safety. Cooking fires are the leading cause of fires and the leading cause of fire injury. So we're taking on one of the biggest causes of fires that we see certainly in the city of Cleveland. So cooking safety starts with you, and you want to make sure when you're going to cook that you're ready to cook, that you aren't under the influence of alcohol or drugs, that you're not tired. You know, nobody ever burned their house down making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So if you're going to cook, make sure that you're in a good place to cook. Also, are you dressed appropriately? You don't want to have loose-fitting clothing, something that could be a fire hazard as you're leaning over the stove. Is your kitchen ready? You want to make sure that kids and pets are kept out of the kitchen, that you have 3 foot of clearance around the stove. Even young children can be taught that the stove is hot and to stay away from the stove. That's a good lesson for kids. And make sure that there are no flammable items anywhere near the heat sources. You don't want to have paper towels or drapes, anything near the stove. Oven mitts themselves can catch fire, so you want to make sure that they're away from the stove itself. So while you are cooking, if you're on the stove top, you want to stay in the kitchen. You want to make sure that you stay in the kitchen. If you have something on the stove top, if you have things in the oven, you want to make sure that you stay home. You want to keep an eye on the things that you fry and stand by your pan. Make sure that you're present in the kitchen. That's the best way that you can be active and protect yourself from a cooking fire in your house. Make sure that the pot handles are turned back. You want to just anticipate any hazards that might happen so that we don't have things pulled off of the stove. In the event that there is a fire, you want to make sure that there's either a metal cover, a metal lid, or a cookie sheet available, and you're going to slide that over to smother the fire. Just slide that right over the top. And we're going from one side so my hand is never over the fire. We're just sliding right over the top. We can do that again later. If the fire is in the oven, kill the heat source and just keep the oven door shut. A fire inside an oven isn't really a hazard. You'll just smother it out by keeping the oven door shut. Fire extinguishers. If you have a fire extinguisher in your house, it's a good investment for your family. You want to make sure the fire extinguisher is located in the means of egress from the fire room. So you want that on the way out of the kitchen. You don't want it stashed in the cabinet or underneath something where you have to go into the fire room to get the fire extinguisher. With a fire extinguisher, if you're going to put the fire out with a fire extinguisher, PASS is the acronym, P-A-S-S. So that's point, or pull the pin, aim, squeeze, and sweep. And we're going to be putting the fire out at the base of the fire, not the flames themselves. But if you can't fight the fire, if the fire is getting out of the way, out of control, you want to close the door on your way out of the room and call 911. Get the fire department notified so we can make as quick a response as possible. And if you, in the event that you are burned for some reason, you want to treat burns with cool water. Cool those burns. So those are some of the safety tips that we've got this year for Fire Prevention Week. I want to thank everybody for coming out. Do you guys have questions?
Why is it important to close everything down? Like close doors,
Close
if there's
the
a fire, close everything.
Well, closing the door will compartmentalize the fire. So we have several things that we message on: close when you doze, keeping bedroom doors closed at night. It's just going to keep the fire contained to that fire room, and any closed door is going to be is going to protect you from the fire. If you have a fire in the hallway outside your house or outside of the bedroom, that closed bedroom door is going to buy you time.
Talk again, why is it bad to put water on a grease fire?
You never want to put water on a grease fire. We used to message on putting baking soda on a grease fire, but the concern there is that people's hands get above the fire. So water on the grease fire will splash the fire onto the wall. It'll actually make the fire worse. So that's the last thing you'd want to do is ever put water on a grease fire. You just want to, like we said, anticipate that there might be an issue. So you want to make sure you have a metal pan or a cookie sheet available, and just slide that over so that your hand is never near the flames, and just smother the flames.
How often do you guys respond to house fires?
We go to house fires basically every day. We'll fight about 4 fires a day, generally in the city of Cleveland, some type of a fire. So we know that we're going to have cooking fires. As the holidays approach, cooking fire spike on Thanksgiving and Christmas. So we know that these are going to be an issue, and we just hope people will be safe this year as they're cooking.